Welcome back to the Vacuous Perspective. The Vac Pack is back.
Back together once again.
I'm Val, joined always by Nate. And Nate, well, it's been a week, but also it's been, 7 days. And it was a weekend.
Oh, wasn't it just? Huge weekend.
Huge weekend.
It's not every day or every weekend that it's younger brother's bucks party.
Yes. It was. It was my younger brother's bucks party.
Yes.
It was actually a joint bucks hens party. They celebrated together. What did you think about that?
It was great. It was fantastic. Loved it.
Oh my God.
It was a bit different in that I know people do combined bucks and hens parties. I haven't been to one.
Yep.
It was just a lovely party.
It was
really
a lovely
just
party.
A party with some games.
Yeah, with a couple of games thrown in there to somewhat embarrass the buck and hen, but they just ended up having a great time, so it didn't really work to that effect.
They were loving it. They weren't phased at all, were they?
No, they had like 3 games, I think. I might be forgetting one. Maybe there was 4. They had go on.
Sorry, when they were doing that question and answer drinking game.
Yeah, wow. That's brave, isn't it? So
it was brave.
Explain it to the folks.
They were sitting back to back.
Yep.
Everyone at the party wrote down a question or two about which one of you is, kinkier in the bedroom or whatever. And the buck and the hen had a shoe of theirs and their partner's shoe in their like left and right hand, and then they have to raise up the shoe of the person in which they're answering, so they couldn't see their partner's answer. And if they
and it's whether or not you get the same answer, and whether or not you know each other better, right?
Yes. And if they get the wrong answer, then they had to do a shot of tequila.
Yeah, if they don't agree. Not the right answer, but if they don't agree, then it's a shot of tequila, which is a dangerous game, isn't it?
Yeah, and I don't know if there was an optical illusion being played with those glasses, but I was getting really concerned because you were asking the questions. So you couldn't hear me down the back with the riffraff. But to begin with, I thought they were doing, double, triple shots. It looked like a half glass of tequila.
No, the shots were reasonable.
Maybe they must just be really little.
They were not regulation.
Maybe they must be really little.
Shots.
They're both really little people, and the shots looked really big.
Okay, cool. That could be it.
Because I was like calling it off. I was after like 3 drinks. I was like, guys, like we got to stop this game. Like I was starting to feel viscerally ill. Yeah.
Because you know what it's like to have a tequila shot.
Yeah.
You probably know what it's like to have 2 tequila shots. You might have had 3 tequila shots.
Might have had
but
a bottle of tequila.
But once you go over 4, 5, 6 shots of tequila, we are in trouble. Now, I'm talking about 30 mil ones, right? 30 mil shots. This is not what was happening. These weren't filled to the brim of a shot glass. It was, I want to say 15. They were generous. They were nice shots of tequila. Now, if you ask me how many shots of tequila would you like to have, I say 0. That's a really easy one for me. So the thought of having 6 just brings me straight back to that memory of me urinating the bed. That's too many. It's the drinking game. If you play a drinking game with shots of tequila as the punishment, I agree with you, we're in trouble.
I don't know if you'd piss the bed from tequila though, because you're not taking on a lot of liquid.
It was the drunkenness of it.
Yeah.
It was the fact, because you're right. It's not much liquid, but it's the right type to get you fucked up. So that was one of the games. And what do you reckon they had? Estimate maybe 4 times where they did not agree, or 5?
Oh, no, they had 4 in a row. I reckon they had 6.
Wow. And they were starting to slow it down towards the end, but they held it together. They did really well. You want to talk about the other games?
I quite enjoyed when they had to twerk. They had a little twerking kit. They both wore this little box with a hole on the top, and it was filled with 5 or so ping pong balls. And the music starts, and they just had to twerk back to back until someone had ejected all the ping pong balls from their little twerk box.
And the party the part that we played as guests is that we had to stand on the side of the arena or the backyard where we thought they were going to win. And on the way to the buck day, because they sort of had in the morning and early afternoon, it was my little brother's crew, and then and his partner's crew sort of partied separately, and then we all got together at the house for the main party, the main affair, the main event. Yeah. And on the way to the first event, I remember saying that when me and Millsy were young, we used to bet on the horses in Grand Theft Auto San Andreas. We were millionaires from the horse races, which is just like video horse racing, which is sort of relevant today being Melbourne Cup Day. But I'm going to try and keep it to one thread for the second because I'm going to go everywhere otherwise.
Yeah.
I told how we would say certain things to the horses to spur them on, to help us get that win. You know, we've got $100,000 on a 14-1. We need it to win. You know, that'd be really good for our skyrockets.
Because it's amazing how you can affect the will of the electronic horses in the video game as well.
Yeah, or at least the illusion of it. When it works,
feels good.
It works.
Yeah.
So there were certain buzzwords, phrases that we would use to get our horse going. One of them was, and this is usually the first one you're going to hear. It's when we've recognized that the horse needs to do some work. So the first one is get up 'em. Get up 'em, right? Work. So, you know, go horse, go kind of thing. Get up 'em would quickly be followed by kick. Trying to get the horse to kick harder. I don't know what that means.
You'd
kick
say
off
it with
the
a bit
ground?
more intensity.
Yeah,
it would just be saying kick. You'd be willing the horse.
Yeah, you're yelling
kick,
it.
Kick.
Yeah, you're yelling
it.
Pig. Yes. And then it was, what was another good one? There's about 5 phrases we used. I have to sort of do them in sequence. Get up 'em, kick. I need this is a good one. You do that
when
if
you're getting a little bit desperate.
Yeah. And if you want to chuck this in, it's not mandatory. You can do a please.
Politely requesting the horse proceeds to run faster.
And the other one, which I've just remembered now, is also during midway through the race, where we urge the horse to make your move. You know, make your move. Kick, get up 'em. It was great. I mean, his parents must have thought we were fucking crazy or whatever because we're just yelling in the back room all this stuff. But we were millionaires. You know, the proof was in the pudding. So when the twerking event was happening, Millsy quite loudly yells at the party. You know, he did it all. He did the whole kick, get up 'em. I need this.
Make your move.
I think my older brother got involved. He was saying, because he'd heard the story, he was saying kick. He knows the story. He knows about the San Andreas horse races. And I think we won.
It worked.
We were on the buck
because
side.
we encouraged our horse. It performed better.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then we'll go through the another game they played, which was they had a sort of what looked like a snowball dance party. Pick a partner, dance with a partner. But you're dancing on a piece of Christmas wrapping paper, I think it was. And the concept is that people get eliminated if they don't dance on the wrapper, especially when the music stops or when the judge is looking at you. So, and when the round would end, then you would fold the paper over, and there was a bit of strategy going on there. What was the strat?
Well, I mean, you can either fold it long ways or short ways. I mean, that's the first strat, but my opinion is you need to fold it long ways. Or that creates – it's interesting because if you fold it short ways, I think you actually get more area. Or is it always the same? You're halving it. No, it's got to be the same.
It would be – it's the same. It's just
the thing is, I was paired with you.
Well, yeah. So what happened was when the hen said you don't have to pick your partner if they're here, pick someone else, kind of encouraging people to, you know, mingle around, get around, talk to people, all that sort of stuff, right? Get and have a dance, which I can say truly, I didn't want to do it. You didn't want to do it. And Millsy didn't want to do it either.
I was a little concerned.
Yeah. It's okay. You didn't want to do it. I didn't want to do it. It's fine.
The main thing is I don't really respond well to demands.
Right.
So I don't negotiate with terrorists. And so when someone says, you need to get up here and dance
and pick someone you don't know. Yeah. It's a lot.
Yeah. I'm like, whoa. I was a bit confused. And also the main thing that concerned me is I didn't know what the purpose of the game was, what the outcome, where we were heading with it. So I'm thinking,
you don't know.
What to what end? To what end? I didn't want to sort of
tell me what we're doing, and then I'll
someone.
decide. Yeah. So I remember I looked across at my older brother's wife, and she said, as soon as she heard you don't have to pick your partner, she went, "Oh, great." And so she looked at me and said, "Hey, we're pairing up." And I said, "Oh God, okay. So now I'm in. I have to be in now. I have to be. I can't say, I don't want to do it, because now I'm paired with my older brother's wife." And so when I walk over there about a minute later, after all the rules have been established and we know what we're doing, she says to me, "No, I'm going to go with my husband." I think he asked her, and she said yes. So I looked at you straight away and went, "Hey, man, we're together. Let's do this," kind of thing. We've got to do it.
And I want to participate as well. I want to be involved in the...
Yeah.
Look, better with you. I know where I stand with you rather than some random... Because obviously we went to Melbourne for this. I don't know a lot of the people that were at this party.
Yeah. Yeah.
They were lovely. They were all fantastic.
I know.
I mean, don't know what I'm getting myself involved with. So, I mean, I was overthinking it. I was just dying.
You didn't want to do it. It's fine.
Didn't want to do it, yeah.
Okay, so... And Millsy secures the role of judge. Now, if it was up to all of the men in the room, we all would have been judges.
Yes.
Because that's a great gig.
Yes,
that is a good gig.
It was a great gig.
But I think I would have been a terrible judge as well. So I'm glad it didn't happen like that. And Millsy truly did shine in his judging role. He was inspecting people, really making sure they were following the rules. He was fair. He gave warnings, but when the time came for eliminations, he did not blink. He eliminated people. It was great.
He bulleted them,
and I thought
very fair.
Yeah, he was fair, especially to us being long-time friends of his and previous housemates. / we lived together, so we had rapport with the judge. Let's just say
we held sway.
And
yes.
There's also the notion that he didn't want to let us get out early because he wanted to not favour us, make us suffer, make us be out there for longer.
Yeah, keep us up there.
So,
and we were performing. We were dancing. The rules required you to continue dancing. When the judge looks at you, you have to be doing something. That
was something that we sort of decided upon. We just said, look, we can just jig on the spot. We're going to put our arms around. We're going to do a bit of arm stuff. But if Millsy looks at us, look busy. And I decided we'd walk around in a circle so that, there's a bit of, hang on a sec, these guys are doing something funky. Look at them, right?
Last time I saw him, Nate was there and Val was there. I look around, 30 seconds later, now they're in different positions. They must be doing something.
They're doing something. Yeah, and it worked because we made it past, I think 2 teams got eliminated before us. And when he eliminated people, he was quite clear about why they were eliminated. He said, you're not standing in there. You're out. Kind of get him out. And I remember it was like the 3rd foldage. So we had this long sort of pitcher's plate by the end of it, really hard to cross now. It was going to be very difficult for us to do our little twirl thing. So I just said, we'll go on the spot. We'll just sort of just do a 360 on the spot and maybe do a bit of hands action and we'll get out of this just fine. And he just looked at us and said, get out. I wanted a ruling. I wanted to know what was the deal there. So if you're listening, Millsy, can you please give us a ruling on why we were eliminated? Because we're still wondering.
It was basically a balance beam at that point, wasn't it?
It was.
It was like, it reminded me of maybe a plank where, you walk the plank on a pirate ship.
Yes. But there's 2 people on it.
But there's 2 people on it.
And they're dancing. Or put that in inverted commas.
Yeah, we adopted, we're quite smart. I think this is what humans do, is once you start to understand the rules or the laws that apply,
yes,
you do the minimum necessary to comply with the rules.
Yes, and that's what we did perfectly, didn't we?
We did.
One thing that when I said that Millsy was being an excellent judge, I wasn't lying. He caught a team who didn't do a complete fold. So they didn't fold it halfway. They only folded like a third maybe I don't know, whatever it was. And he pulled them up on it. And then I don't know if he refolded it for them so that it was half or if he just kicked them out. Right? I don't know. I will need that in the email as well. But great, great.
It was a great night. Everything was
great game. Yeah.
Great game. Great night. Everything was fantastic. I almost had a catastrophe.
Did you?
Almost had a catastrophe. The buck came over to me, and you have to do, when the buck tells you to do something, right, you do it, okay? So he comes over and he's got this big tray of food. It was this, turned out to be a biryani rice. Mm-hmm. Massive tray of it, perhaps. Mm-hmm. I don't know, 5 to 10 kilos. It's a huge tray.
It was a huge
dish tray of biryani rice, but maybe 5. I mean, that seems like an obscene weight for food, so 5 probably seems about right. And he says, it's not hot. You'll be okay. And he's holding the alfoil tray by the sides.
The sides.
I put my arms out like, please, sir, can I have some more? He pops it on top and turns around to go get some more.
Because there was 2 more trays.
And I'm half cut at this point, but I remember the words he told me, you'll be okay.
Yes.
And I turn to Millsy and I say, I can't tell if this is burning my hands.
Yeah.
And there's nowhere to put it down. Because the only spot to put it was this couch, and that was piled up with all the papers from the game that we had played.
There was stuff. There wasn't a place for it.
There wasn't a place for it. So I'm trying to politely clear this stuff with no one was. I don't think anyone knew I was sort of struggling.
You didn't say it. You probably weren't making it clear. You were probably trying to
I wasn't panicking. I was fine. I thought I was fine. I wasn't sure if I was burning or not. And when I got it
You'll
down,
be okay. You'll be okay.
Yeah, I was sort of feeling the hand and I was thinking, oh, geez, that was pretty hot. I don't know if I've burned myself. Then about 30 seconds passes and I can feel something in my hand, a feeling that I don't ordinarily get.
Yeah, what was it?
It was really hot.
Burnsies.
Yeah. The heat had not gone away. I was like, man, my hand feels fucking hot.
Yes.
I was like, but being half cut, it didn't really help where I was mentally with this. I thought, I think I've got a real problem here. I think I've burnt myself.
Oh, no.
I think it would have been fine if I had, because it was heavy as well. So the weight of it, particularly on one of my hands, where maybe all the way it was placed on my hands, most of it was going through my left hand. And so when you have something fairly hot, it's probably, 80, 85 degrees or something, because when you open it up and dig down into the bottom, it's steaming.
Yes.
Anyway, I ran it underwater for 5-10 minutes and got an ice pack on it.
Didn't you get some advice before you did that?
Yeah, I did actually. And your older brother very confidently took control of the situation. And he came up to me and he said, with any burn, you have to run it under running water for at least 30 minutes.
You know what's funny is both my brothers were wrong.
Oh, okay. All right, tell me more.
When he said you'll be fine, you weren't fine. When Tunj gave it to you, you weren't fine.
I think he was acting on the assumption I was going to grab it the same way he did.
And so he goes,
it's hot, you'll be fine, because he's fine. Yeah. He's going, it's hot. But I don't think he appreciated the way he plonked it on my hands and the idiot I was just standing there.
Thinking I'll be fine.
Yes. I didn't know what to do with it. I was just standing there for a while.
But then the older brother said you need to, with any burn. Now he's using some very pointed language there. He's saying any burn. What did he say? Half an hour under with ice or something? What was it?
Half an hour running under
cold water.
Cold water, yeah.
Okay. And are you just getting some advice on this now?
I am.
From the internet?
And I got some advice actually, because that day it was ironic or coincidence that my wife was doing a first aid course.
Oh.
So 5 hours before the incident, she had just completed a first aid course.
She's perfectly placed.
And so when I came back and I was talking to her about it, I said, hey, you're a trained professional.
Yes.
What is your advice for a burn? And she said, running water for at least 20 minutes. I've just looked it up and that seems to be right. But someone, I don't know if it was your brother or not, someone did me a solid because I got out an ice pack from the freezer.
Yes.
Because I was thinking I want to get this cold as soon as possible. Someone said you don't do that first. You need to run it under cold water first. I don't know if that was your brother or not, but
okay. So don't treat it straight away with ice. So someone did come along and actually.
And it says here, as soon as possible, put the burnt area under cool running water for at least 20 minutes. Do not use ice. Only apply water to the burnt area.
And with those, I sort of have the assumption that, especially like with something that I would consider like a minor burn. You know, it could be 5 minutes, it could be 10 minutes, you'll be okay. You know, surely it depends on how bad the burn is.
It does. It does. Now, I'm getting more concerned now. I'm glad I didn't look into this, because when should I call an ambulance? Because a little part of me, I was wondering, I was like, how bad can a burn be? I don't know. I'm just dealing with what's the worst case scenario right now.
Right.
Because it's on my hand as well. Yeah. And
need them.
You need those. And there was a little bit of, I'm seeing the word here, but I agree with this. It looked a little leathery.
Yes.
There was a weird sort of ripply roughness to it, which has nearly all gone away now. But when it happened, that's why I knew something was up, because I was like, my skin's a little bit kind of funny.
Yeah, because Hunter felt terrible, so that's good.
No, he did, and I felt bad. I mean, I was playing it very cool because I also knew that I was probably just overreacting. But also, I was like, he was telling me he felt really bad about it.
Yes.
And it was fine. It was actually more my fault than his.
Yes.
But I was telling him later that because it was a good outcome in the end, I love it when things go wrong.
Yes. As long as troughs, huh?
Yeah, I didn't have to chop my hand off.
Yeah.
I didn't have to go to the hospital.
Hey, speaking of burning, did you try the biryani?
Oh, shit. It was
amazing.
One of them was a scorcher. It was beautiful. Yeah. One of them was so hot. I actually think when they were making it, they had amnesia.
Right.
From putting the chili in the first time. Or maybe someone else came along and was like, where are we up to on this one? Oh, I'm up to the chili.
Yeah. No, that's probably not what happened. It's probably just fucking hot. But do you know what's funny? About an hour after everyone had, burnt their faces off and had an amazing time doing it, going for seconds, going for seconds, burned face off again. Tunj actually found another Uber Eatsy kind of bag that had all the stuff that helps you like cope with the heat.
Forgot about that.
Does anyone want this?
So we were eating half the meal.
Yeah. I had some really good chats as well. I was talking to a couple who are from Bangalore, and they were telling me about Bangalore cuisine.
Okay.
And I started thinking about Australian cuisine and the lack thereof of it. Yeah. And I had a theory on it. Because I spoke to another guy. He was the man in the couple. He said to me, I can give you an analogy that'll completely fix this for you, like solve this for you. I said, great. He said, how Australians, and this is generally speaking, how Australians feel about beer and sport, like the importance of sport in culture, is how Indians feel about food.
Strong feelings, isn't it?
Yeah. And I get the feeling that it's due to the fact that like we never really developed the sort of food culture, except for like, what is it, Barbies? Like, you know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
But we did develop a heavy sporting culture. You know what I mean? To be honest,
the Barbies is more about the beers as well.
Yeah, that's true.
It's beers outside of the Barbie.
Yeah. Nice weather, beers.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that was a good way for him to solve that for me. I just thought, yeah, okay. That makes
felt like
sense.
You understood a little bit how passionate they are about
and
food.
He asked another Indian friend who was nearby, he said, hey man, like he just out of nowhere, he was busy eating the biryani and just sweating. Like everyone and loving it. Yeah, it was great.
Eyes watering,
And he says, hey mate, beer or food? And he goes, what? Food? What are you talking about, you idiot? Like he really got like offended by it. He's like, what are you talking about? There's no comparison to be drawn. And I've never been much of a food guy, so that sort of stuff is fresh to me.
And you've never been much of a beer guy either, so.
Well, not in the last sort of 12 years, yeah. Well, yeah, you're right. Never a beer guy.
I have a sneaking suspicion it has something to do with 1 billion people living in an area.
Food is important. It's the most important thing.
Huge numbers of people all competing for.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep, that's it. And also, I feel like Australians, we're a young country in the sense that we're only a few hundred years old. We never developed that sort of extreme need for food. You know what I mean?
We could sort of enjoy the luxury of sport a little bit more. We don't even have to run to, catch prey, or we don't have to walk to go down to the watering hole or any of that jazz.
Never had to in our culture, right?
So we're kind of like, we're looking for something to do. We're like, we've got the water, we've got the food. Let's have some beers and kick a footy.
That's it. And just to finish off, that it was just a really great time. The whole weekend was great.
Yeah, it was a ripper. Actually, I was, or to take it in. Do you have anything to add from the weekend? So how you got back on the Sunday night?
I did.
Yeah, all good. Felt all right. I was feeling pretty crook on the Sunday.
Oh, we had a lady captain, and the co-captain was some guy, but his last name was Kenobi, and it blew my fucking mind. It was like co-captain Kenobi, and I'm like, holy fuck! Like, we got a starship here. Like, where are we going? Kenobi's at the helm? Holy shit.
Oh, shit, yeah. Can I hear more about Kenobi? Sorry, can we rewind? Can we put him on? Tell me your story.
He is going, when he's the main pilot, he is going to have a fucking hell of a time going, this is Captain Kenobi speaking. We are absolutely fine, everybody. It's great.
Yeah, imagine if your last name was, Brett Kirk, for example, the captain of Sydney back in the day. If he decided to become a pilot, it would be awkward because you'd have to keep I'm Captain Kirk. Everyone would be loving it. You'd probably change your name, wouldn't you?
Yeah, you would.
Because everyone and would
luckily,
love
I don't think like Solo is a real name, so Captain Solo's off. That's not going to happen. That's gone. But there are probably some other bad names to have as well.
Yeah, well, we're going to become a true spacefaring species sooner rather than later as well. Speaking of Star Wars,
it's happening soon.
It's happening soon. We've had a bit of a breakthrough. We've grown some mouse embryos on the ISS. It's the first time. Well, first time we've ever tried and successfully. I don't know if we've tried before, but we've successfully done it now because they're also mammals. So the concept of growing a human embryo, there's proof of concept now.
Yes.
Or at least there's an analogous concept that we've now done, suggests that humans can reproduce in space someday.
Right.
I mean, we could have.
Were we worried about that?
Well, we need to be able to have. We need to have babies in space. We need space babies. I mean,
is that fair? I guess so.
We need them. It's not whether it's fair or not.
What do you mean need them?
Well, when you're traveling, when it takes decades, when it takes generations to get somewhere, unless we're going to do the whole, the bloody cryo or some kind of.
What do you want to do? Freeze babies that grow up while they're in travel?
No, I want people to live their whole lives in travel. I mean, we're on a spaceship right now. Earth's a spaceship.
I see what you're saying. You're talking about that idea that the first people that get sent off planet will be in slow ships, and it'll be up to generations and generations of the crew to pilot the ship in the future to get to its eventual destination. They can be a 1,000-year journey.
Guarantee that there will be, as long as we don't fuck this up now.
Yes.
Unfortunately, there will be people that live their whole life.
What?
Born on a spaceship.
Oh, God.
Die on a spaceship.
What the fuck?
It's going to happen. It's 100% going to happen. That is not so far away.
Wow, I'm writing that down because that's going into the memory bank to the same place as the guy that told me that the first person to live forever is already alive. That one has a bit more immediate ramifications. Your one, much more future thinking. He's put himself in a box. He says it's within our lifetime. He says they're already alive. The first person to live forever.
Yeah, okay. Whereas, mine obviously can't be alive. They need to be born on a spaceship, yeah. And I'm also saying that they will die on the same spaceship they were born.
Yeah. And morally, are you okay with that?
Well, that's the biological bodies that we have. They've adapted to the earth that we live on, and we're going to abuse that.
Is that fair?
For the child. I
is that
think
like
that
being
they will
born
feel
into a
like
prison?
In some ways, if you put like a prison, but if you think of Earth as a prison, they're the ones breaking out. They're doing it for they're taking our species on a journey. You know, when you talk about like, I don't know, generations of, let's say, the Jews, for example, keeping the dream alive. They broke out of Egypt. A group of Jewish people escaped the enslavement of the Egyptians, and they went on a bit of a journey. Eventually, they ended up in Jerusalem. Only took 2,000 years. We're talking generations of people that were displaced, didn't have a home, things like that. End up there. And some of the people during that journey were doing something similar, I guess. There was some end goal they had of populating the fucking
Promised Land.
The Promised Land. They were lucky enough to be able to live out their life on Earth, but I mean there was a connection between a line of people.
Yeah,
a family line.
Well, famously, you can't choose where you're born.
No.
So, yeah, it's the same as.
So if we pick a star system somewhere else, develop a religion around it, call it the Promised Land.
Okay.
Then that journey to get there is
it starts now.
They'll probably feel stoked if you convince someone. If you package it as religion or some purpose greater than yourself.
Yeah. Shouldn't we be launching towards the one where all the ancient alien guys say the OG aliens came from? Shouldn't we aim for that one?
Sirius or Cirrus, is it?
Yeah, it might be.
Have you heard of the Dogon Tribe in Africa somewhere?
Okay.
I heard Joe Rogan crap on about it before. I actually heard him mention it the other day and he completely fucked it up. The Drogons. Yeah, he said that the Drogons, their creation myth is that they're from Mars.
It's a pretty cool creation myth.
But that's not
that's
what
also
it is.
A myth, is it?
Yeah, that's not correct. The Drogon tribe in somewhere in Africa.
Yes.
They think they're from the Sirius star. I don't know how to pronounce it. Sirius. I think it's a very bright star in the night stars.
Brightest or Alpha Centauri is the brightest?
Alpha Centauri is the closest. I don't think it's the
Sirius
brightest.
May be brightest. Okay, great.
I think it's that one. And when I say Joe Rogan got wrong, I should probably fact check myself now. But I knew you had it wrong because Jamie chimed in later and was like, "Oh yeah, they don't think they're from Mars." Anyway, but they have. We didn't know
but I
this.
think they're from further.
Yeah, way further away. But they have some information where they always said that there was two stars very close together. They said that their home star or the one that they revere is actually a binary star system or
like
words
Luke
to that effect.
Skywalker. Yeah.
And we only confirmed that recently that there's Sirius A or Sirius A and Sirius B, and it's a binary star system. And apparently in their law, their culture, they've known that for thousands of years, whereas we only figured that out about 50 years ago or something or less.
Interesting.
Could just be luck.
More questions, right? More questions because they must have got here somehow. The knowledge was around long enough for them to preserve it within their culture. Even though they obviously didn't have the tech to fly around and stuff. Interesting. Very cool.
I've asked ChatGPT because it might just be able to give us a...
Yep.
Okay. I asked her what is the Drogon creation myth because I'm trying to get the whole story.
Yep.
Okay. Drogon is actually the name of one of the 3 dragons from the popular fantasy book series, A Song of Fire and Ice by George R.R. Martin.
Yep. Correction. So it's got nothing to do with fucking Sirius A and B, bro.
No.
You got that. You're way off. ChatGPT coming in with the goods again. It can't lose.
Dogon people.
Right, it would help, I guess, if we did the right words.
Dogon, okay. Dogon. This is something that stems from...
It might be a bit Stargate-y, huh?
No, yeah, it is. It is. And it comes from... I first read about it from Graham Hancock, actually. This is one of the things that kind of got him... Yeah, he was one of an African correspondents.
Yeah, that's when he found out about the Ark of the Covenant being in Ethiopia. That's when he researched that.
That's right, and this is one of the other things.
That's what kicked off his whole thing.
Kicked it off, and this is another thing that he came across that he started thinking of it more deeply about some of these things. Not that this is hard and fast evidence. It just if you start, you're like, oh, this is interesting.
Yes, interesting.
The Dogon people are an ethnic group indigenous to the Central Plateau region in Mali in West Africa. I'm just going to skip anything that doesn't... It's called the Dogon creation myth. It's their creation story. The myth centers around the supreme deity, Amma, who is believed to be the creator of the universe and all living things. According to Dogon cosmology, Amma first created the earth and then gave birth to the Nomo, a group of amphibious beings who are half human, half fish.
Mermaids.
Yeah. The Nomo was sent to Earth to populate it and teach the Dogon people important knowledge and wisdom. Okay, this doesn't get into the star. I'll ask it later. But so the Dogon myth involves the Nomo. The Dogon creation myth involves the Nomo playing a central role in shaping the world and its inhabitants.
So it's your angels coming to Earth, angels and human stuff.
Yeah, little fish angels.
Fish angels, yeah. They must have had a very aquatic-based culture going as well.
So it's just an oral tradition, this myth. What did they know about Sirius?
You've also looked into sort of, about Pillar 43 in Göbekli. In enclosure, I don't know if it's enclosure B or something.
I think it's D. But whatever.
The vulture stone that depicts like an ancient cataclysm, I guess, but it's the stars as they were. They're telling it later. The story's been around for a while.
It's interpreted. One interpretation of it.
Yeah, one interpretation of it is that they're doing a star map of a time of when it happened. That was not when they did the stone, which would have been before. But how would they have done that? How do they trace the stars back?
Oh, we can do that. We can do that now.
I know that.
Oh, but how did they do it? Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Do you know it actually points to this time?
Oh, okay. Are we in the same sort of part of the universe?
I think the way that if you take those being, those representations on Pillar 43. So if you've got things that look like certain constellations, so they put those if you sort of imagine those constellations in the night sky, it represents certain periods of time. Apparently, one interpretation is, and it's super controversial, is that it's pointing to this time, and it's also considered to be, arguably, the interpretation is that it's a warning for an
future
asteroidal impact.
There could be something soon.
Yes.
Because I was watching a video about it, and we will circle back to the Jeeps. I want to hear more about the Dogons.
Yeah.
But I watched this video about it, and they said that every sort of between, I think it's August and November, we go through the Taurus asteroid field. It's probably the best time to go and see a shooting star during those 3 months of the year, because we pass through this big field of asteroids. And it's also a good time of the year to get completely obliterated by an object from outer space, because apparently it's quite a tumultuous period in our cycle, in our yearly cycle. So apparently we're dodging bullets left, right, and center during these months. And it does really make sense to me because when I was at Levers all those years ago, I was out all night at a beach, and I saw no less than like 20 shooting stars that night. And that would have been around this time of the year. It was crazy. I'd never seen like one before, and then I saw 20 in a row.
Yeah, you wonder what they look like. And when you see one, you're like, oh, okay, that's it.
Yeah.
It reminds me of, what are those little whiteboards you have when you're a kid and you shake it and it goes?
Etch-a-sketches.
Etch-a-sketch. It reminds me of a line getting struck across the etch-a-sketch and then it being rubbed out.
Yeah, it gets rubbed out. Except if you were in Russia that time in 12 or something?
Yeah, 2012, 2013. The Chelyabinsk. Chelyabinsk, Russia.
I was going to say Chelyabinsk, but I thought it was too close to Chicxulub, and that's a different one altogether.
The one that wiped out the dinosaurs.
Yep. So let's go back to the Dogons. What are the?
Okay.
Have you got any fresh information on the stars?
Yeah, I do. And I've been meaning to look into this as well. So I'm glad I had the opportunity.
Do your own research. Here we go.
My own research through ChatGPT.
Yeah.
The Dogon people are known for their traditional knowledge and beliefs related to the star Sirius, specifically the Sirius star system, which is one of the brightest stars in the night sky. The Dogon's understanding of Sirius, as conveyed by, who cares, gained attention and sparked discussion about their astronomical knowledge. According to the Dogon oral tradition, they have knowledge about a companion star to Sirius, which they refer to as Po-Tolo, or Saturn. They claim that Po-Tolo orbits Sirius, which is a binary star system comprising Sirius A and Sirius B. The existence of Sirius B was not confirmed by Western astronomers until the 19th century and is not visible to the naked eye due to its faintness.
Wow, there you go. That's pretty cool.
It's pretty cool. I mean, it could just be a guess, but it's also quite creative for an ancient person to seeing all these stars and dots up there.
That's really true. To
say, one of them, there's actually two, where there's a really faint one or an associated one with it.
It's a big leap, isn't it?
It is quite a big leap.
And you've only got your own star system to compare it to. So you look at, even if you had which I don't know how they would have, but I'm sure they did have knowledge of the solar system. You'd look at the sun and be like, that's the one.
I don't think ancient people would put the sun in the same basket as a star.
Okay.
There's no reason for them to do it. I know people to this day that when I said the sun is a star, they looked at me like I was a fucking idiot. And I was like, 100% is a star.
Well, it depends. Is it twinkling?
It's just because...
If it's twinkling, it's a sun somewhere else. And if it's not twinkling, it's a planet.
The difference is we are 13 light minutes away from the sun, whereas the next closest star is 4 years away. So if you put that as a percentage...
That feels shorter and shorter all the time.
4 light years? Just remember that a light second is 300,000 kilometers.
Gets you to the moon, but not back.
Yes. No, it doesn't quite get you to the moon. It gets you, almost. Yeah. I think it's 400,000 kilometers to the moon.
I don't think so.
I think it's 1.3 seconds, 1.3 light seconds.
It's like, isn't it between 330 and 370? Like the moon's
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. So, a light second is 300,000.
Yeah. So you got to go another 30,000.
Yeah, another little bit, another tiny little bit. But yeah, the Dogon's knowledge about the existence of Sirius B raised questions and debates among scholars and astronomers. Some believe that Dogon might have had access to advanced astronomical knowledge through their contact with outside sources, while others were skeptical about the accuracy of their claims.
Yeah, yep. Oh, that seems fair.
Yeah, it could have just been misinterpretation. Who knows what they were actually saying about it.
It's funny that we can, the scientists are like, look, I've heard what you have to say about your, and I think, I'm calling bullshit.
Speaking of how far away
these threatened scientists, they're just, no, This cannot be. It took us ages to do that.
We're talking about how far away the moon is.
Yeah.
The OSIRIS REx Explorer, which we've just opened it up pretty recently. It went off to the Bennu asteroid. It went 2 million. I think it was 2 million miles or something, and then 2 million miles back.
Yeah.
Well, it collected some of the sample.
Came back, dropped them off, and then zipped off again.
Yeah, and we're just currently in the process. We've had it about a month, and some scientists are very, very carefully opening and dividing up the soil. They call it regolith that they've collected, and they're going to send it around to all establishments around the world to study and have a look at. But that OSIRIS REx Explorer has dropped off the package and continued on now to do a couple of slingshots around Venus and the sun and whatnot.
Fucking hell, yep, take your time.
Yeah, take your time. It's heading off to the Apophis asteroid, which we've talked about once or twice before.
The big boy.
The big boy. And we talked about this, but I just wanted to clarify. So it doesn't get there until 2029. It's going to have a look at it.
Calendar.
Yeah, that's another one for the calendar. So it was discovered in 2004, and they thought it was going to impact the Earth in 2029 when they first discovered it.
So this information is going to be a bit not needed, isn't it? It's going to come back just in time to get clipped by it, for us to get clipped by it.
Well, it must be pretty close if our first mathematical calculations had it hitting Earth in 2029.
Wow.
Apparently now with more accurate modelling.
So do you think Apophis is the Pillar 43 boy? Is that your thoughts?
Well, it could be. It could be. I mean, it could be any asteroid really. And
I never thought the Apophis level threat would be Apophis.
Yeah, it's in the name.
Well, I made up Apophis level threat. It's just it's a very base level of threat that you get in the SG-1 universe, like in Stargate. Is it an Apophis level threat? Because he's pretty threatening. He tried to destroy Earth once or twice, so it's making a lot of sense.
So the modelling now has cleared Earth for 600 years at least. Apophis does come past Earth a couple of times, but it's not going to hit us.
Good.
Unless something changes.
Yeah, but they can't detect them all.
No, they definitely can't. And this is one of the more, because we're tracking it and it's going in, I don't know what it's doing. It's basically orbiting through our solar system in some way. That's fine because it's in our neighborhood. It's a ball in our neighborhood. What we're worried about is something that's coming over the fence from somewhere else.
Yeah, the kids can play in the backyards. They can play baseball and stuff. Just try not to smash any windows.
Just try not to smash anything. It's inevitable as well, right? Eventually.
It is inevitable.
Yeah. But it's passing 1/10 of the distance to the moon in 2029.
Yeah,
so this is, they originally thought it was going to hit. It is.
What would something like that do to the moon? Obviously, the moon's copped a lot of punishment over the years, but what's the biggest thing that's hit the moon? Would it change where it could it alter its orbit?
Well, I guess it could if it's big enough.
Yeah, if it's big enough.
They think the moon was, one creation theory for our moon is that it was a asteroidal impact.
Yeah, or a piece of Earth that came off it. Yeah.
Sheared away. But do you know that 1/10 of the distance to the moon?
Yeah. The biggest natural impact on the moon is thought to have occurred billions of years ago when a large object, possibly a Mars-sized body, collided with the early moon.
Mm-hmm.
Whoa. Wow. But I guess I'd like to see where the evidence of that it would be on the moon, but it wouldn't be, right? If it hit it that hard.
Who knows what you have to look to that'd be able to figure it out.
Yeah.
Somehow.
Great.
But it's pretty cool because you'll be able to see this asteroid. You'll be able to see Apophis with the naked eye.
Yeah. Because that's how close it's skimming.
Yeah. And it's going to be closer than some satellites. So they say that.
And what is it? How big is it? Just so
it's 340 meters wide.
340 meters.
Which is ginormous because, well, the ISS size, let's get that.
But that would cause damage, 300 meters.
A 300-meter asteroid.
I'm just imagining it being the size of my street.
Yeah, that would cause massive problems. It's traveling at 17,000 kilometers an hour. So Chelyabinsk.
Yeah, that was we've done this, but what is it? Yeah,
that was 18 meters.
18 meters.
Yeah, this is 340 meters. This would be a massive problem. So they say an asteroid that big and that close only occurs that when you're estimating every 7,500 years. So in human history, on probability wise, I know we don't have all the data. They estimate right now that this is once in the, if we want to call human history a generation, this is a once in a generation event that we get to see.
And when's that? When's the calendar date for Apophysis flyby?
I don't know when the flyby. It's 2029 sometime in 2029.
I'd be surprised if it wasn't between August and November. I'd say it has to be in that cloud. Has to be.
I don't know about that actually. The Taurid meteor stream, is that one of the things you're referring to?
Yeah.
I don't know if it is. I don't know if because the toroid meteor stream is a broken up comet. It's a debris field from a broken up comet.
Not a threat. Happy?
No, it's definitely a threat. Could be a threat. Threat potential. This thing, the Apophis asteroid, was apparently something that was knocked out of the asteroid field that just exists between Mars and what's the next one? Jupiter. Is it Mars and Jupiter?
I don't even know. I don't know the order.
Saturn. I always thought Saturn was before Jupiter. I'm pretty sure it's after. Hey, what's the eastern hemisphere as well? Okay, that part of the Earth east of the Atlantic Ocean. East of the Atlantic Ocean and west, of North and South America. Okay. Because it says that the Apophis asteroid is only going to be visible to the naked eye in the eastern hemisphere.
Right.
So that's Europe, Asia. Oh, okay, Africa. It includes Australia.
Okay.
All right, so we're all right. We don't have to go anywhere for it.
Well, we would, wouldn't we?
We would. We probably want at least somewhere with no light pollution. At least drive out into the outback.
Yeah. Oh, that sounds great. While there is a small probability of an impact with Earth in the distant future, it is considered highly unlikely. There you go. In the distant future. They're not worried about the next time it comes around. How often are we dealing with this Apophis level threat, do you think?
Well, they've cleared it for 600 years. They've given it a...
Right, so that's the distant future they're talking about. So after 600 years, you're on your own. It's, doesn't become more likely, probably doesn't become less likely.
We'll be gone by then.
You say that, but the person who's alive forever, that's alive today, may say something about that.
Jeez. Alive forever. Yeah, that's pretty wild to think about.
Yeah. I'd say it's as wild as the opposite.
The scientists are up to their old tricks again.
Oh, what are they doing? Poking something? What are they doing?
Poking the world's smallest particle accelerator.
Great. We need all these things. Hang on. Wait. Particle accelerator? So we're talking like Hadron? That's a particle accelerator, right?
Yes, it is, but it's 54 million times smaller
than the Hadron.
The large
Hadron
collider
is famously massive.
Yeah, I think it spans, two countries.
Yeah.
But 54 million times smaller that's a big number as well. It's a big number smaller, And
is that a good idea?
Well, it fits on a coin, this particle accelerator.
But is that a good idea? Because didn't the Earth fit into a coin once and then someone Hadron collided that shit and all sorts of shit happened?
Something like that. But that we want everything to fit on a coin. You can put a coin in your pocket.
Pop it in your pocket, yeah.
Pop it in. Nanophotonic electron accelerator.
What's the application? What do you think?
Oh, mate.
Are we in need of some particle acceleration on a small scale?
Oh, you can probably fire photons at your mates.
Great.
You know how you used to in school, you'd spitball?
Yes. What a primitive way to get somebody. You could partically accelerate something right into that person's face.
You could probably give them cancer.
Yeah, one shot.
Okay, the dream application would be to place a particle accelerator on an endoscope in order to be able to administer radiotherapy directly to the affected area within the body.
Sounds pretty good.
But this is a long way off, I reckon.
We'll get back to it then. I mean, yeah, you're annoying me, scientists, but keep going.
Yeah, they reckon that it could open the door to a wide range of applications. They've only said one, including using these teensy particle accelerators inside human patients.
Yeah, great. It's just like we were talking about last week. We were talking about the nanobots.
Yeah, the nanobots and the
nanomotors. So you take a vitamin pill that just has nanobots in it, and they just go, yep, we're your one-stop shop. What do you need done? And then I guess you just shit them out. When they run out of battery, they go and make their way to the anus.
But I mean, sometimes you create the product.
Yeah.
And the customers will come.
Yes. Well, yeah.
We don't know what we can do with it, but I mean, it sounds pretty cool. It uses more than 9,000 magnets. Oh, this is the Large Hadron Collider. Uses more than 9,000 magnets to create a magnetic field that accelerates particles to around 99% of the speed of light.
That's pretty amazing, isn't it?
That's pretty cool, considering what we calculate that the fastest mass we've ever seen particles, obviously, a particle is mass.
Yeah, but a fiber line, wouldn't that be light? So wouldn't that be the speed of light subject to any bumps and stuff?
I mean, light can be a particle, but I'm assuming they're talking about obviously, like light would be going 100% the speed of light because it is light. So they're assuming this is a particle with mass. But the nanophotonic electron accelerator.
You know how you're all about 1% improvements?
Yes.
Yeah. What about that 99%, the speed of light? How come they haven't hit 100 yet?
Oh, probably if they hit 100, they're probably going to create a black hole that destroys the universe.
Well, then do 98% then. Why are we sitting on the precipice of potential disaster? Don't do 99 if that's what you're worried about. If you're worried about hitting 100 and the whole world explodes, let's do 96.
Do you know they were actually concerned because they knew the math showed that they could create a tiny miniature universe? Black hole.
Oh boy.
It evaporates really quick, so it's only temporary. It's only there for a moment. But they didn't know it was only going to be temporary. When they fired this thing up, they're like, let's create a black hole.
You would have been scared if you lived in the town above the Hadron, right? You would have thought, when they said, all right, we're turning it on today, you would have thought, holy fuck, here we fucking go, right? I think the whole world sort of held their breath in some respect.
I don't think they told anyone. I think they just told them after
we knew
they
about
did
it. No, we knew about it. Yeah, we knew about it.
They probably
knew about it before they switched it on. Because there was no one going, stop. Everyone just thought, scientists, they know what they're doing.
They're like, we got this.
Particles over here.
We got this, yeah. But science, right? Progress.
Yes.
Okay, so the NEA also creates a magnetic field, but works by they couldn't fit 9,000 magnets into it, so that it works by firing light beams at the pillars in the vacuum tube. This amplifies the energy in just the right way, but the resulting energy field is much weaker. Oh, see, this isn't okay. They've only got 1/millionth of the energy of the particles accelerated by the LHC.
What's the LHC? The Hadron?
Yeah, that's the Large Hadron Collider.
Look, it fits in your pocket. What do they expect? The other one is a fucking 400-kilometer stretch of pipe. All right. I'm forgiving the coin, guys.
Yeah, okay. It's a good attempt. Like, well done. Well done. We might be able to buy one. It could just be for shits. You just have one on a
like
coin.
A fidget spinner. Yeah.
Yeah.
You got a little particle accelerator. It goes on your wrist. Slap it on your wrist. But it doesn't seem like there's a good application for just, unless you're ill. It doesn't seem like there's much fun to be had, right?
That's what I'm saying. We'll figure it out.
Big inventions.
Once you give one of these to a 15-year-old on TikTok, they'll figure out what to do with it. They'll start sharing with their friends.
Yeah, it's funny. Yeah, the old people, they just don't know what they're doing with tech, do they? Give it to a teenager.
Yeah, you don't give my mum a Large Hadron Collider.
No, you give that like
can't be trusted with it. Who knows? She'll just probably try and put on Law and Order SVU or something.
Yeah. No, leave it to the kids, man. They know what they're doing.
You would have heard about the Bunbury Council using the Wiggles song, Hot Potato, to drive off homeless people.
Yeah, I did hear about that. I only heard about it because I heard that the Wiggles asked them to not do that.
Yeah, they're pretty upset.
So the Wiggles said, please don't use our song in this way. Well, first of all, they're probably not a fan of the way the council is treating the homeless people, number one. Number two, it means they think it's a shit song that will move people on. Like the council thought, what's the worst song we can play to make people move on? Let's do Hot Potato on repeat. And someone said, brilliant. Right?
But the song's also not designed for adults. So in their defense,
sure. No, I didn't think about that.
Yeah, they're picking a song that, look, it's not the worst, but you don't want to listen to it either.
No. I did hear about this though.
Yeah, they're pretty upset about it. The Wiggles looking mighty diverse these days when I saw a picture of them.
Yeah, right. Because back in the day when we were kids, there was Jeff who had to wake up for something, and then there was the other guys, and they were about fruit, I think. So I can't remember much else, but they were all blokes to begin with.
Yeah, they're all white guys, I believe.
Yeah. So now what have we got?
Oh, now there's a whole bunch. I think there's more than 4. It's a whole raft of just hangers.
So yeah, but the Wiggles are the band, and the lineup's changing. The lineup's changed over the years. There was the core guys who are around forever, and then there's the new Wiggles. But they're not called the new Wiggles; they're just called the Wiggles. And they're sort of a kids' music band.
Yeah. See, I'm looking at a picture. There's 8 of them. 2 yellow.
Oh, okay.
2 red.
The Wiggles
2 blue.
line up in 2022. Yeah. Okay. We've got 4 ladies, 4 blokes, 2 of the original Wiggles, and all the rest are new. So 2 OG Wiggles, Jeff being one of them. I think that's Jeff. Is that Jeff? In the blue shirt?
Oh, maybe it is actually. It looks familiar, doesn't he?
Is it Jeff? It's not. He's someone else. It's Anthony Field. Anyway, so there's a lot of members. There's a lot of past members now. They're obviously doing really well still. And there's another band that's been doing stuff lately, not just the Wiggles, but the Beatles. The Beatles just released their last song ever, they're calling it. It's called Now and Then, and it's ripped from an old demo tape that Yoko Ono found in the 90s and said, hey, Paul, do you want this? And he said, yeah. And he tried to do it with do the song with George Harrison and Ringo Starr in the early 90s, and then they couldn't do it. For whatever reason, they felt like they couldn't do it justice. They couldn't lift John Lennon's piano out of the vocals that he was doing because they liked the recording, but they had to redo the piano and separate his voice. And only until recently had the technology been good enough to give it a crack, and they did it.
So they've extricated John Lennon's voice. And then they've used that track in another song. Is that?
Yeah, they've made the song.
So they
finished it for him.
Okay,
they finished it for him.
All right. So they
it's
couldn't
kind of like
use
an author
piano.
dying before their book's out, and the son sort of does it. It's the same sort of vibe.
Yeah. Okay.
But the video clip was amazing because I think there's a lot more AI going on in the video. Because the video sort of has depictions of all the Beatles in the 60s. Playing alongside their current versions of themselves. And whilst, yes, it could be just green screened, like they've found some old footage and painstakingly rotoscoped out, which means cut out frame by frame the background so that you can take that face like we do now. Like I can take your face and pop it anywhere. They're doing that. they're either doing that or they're using AI to say, here's John Lennon's face, either deep fake a person pretending to be Lennon on a green screen and then use that, and then they deep fake it, or it's completely computer generated versions of their 60 selves. It's really cool.
Yeah, okay. Are they going to do anything else? What can't AI do? I mean, if we use it to extricate his voice, but can't it just replicate his voice as willy-nilly?
Yeah. I think people were giving me the idea that that's what they did for some of the verses potentially, if they did use his voice like that. I haven't confirmed that, but sure, it could be possible. And yes, you're right. There's enough of his voice out there for them to do a pretty good robot version of it. But getting that robot version to sing is not really a thing yet, I don't think.
Yeah, okay. Everything's AI assisted now. Yeah, we just used AI before. I know there's AI assisted music videos. We're looking at that Kieran Callanan guy who did that. I don't know if you remember that Anemic Adonis song. I don't know if you ever looked into that video clip, but it's pretty weird. He's actually coming back to Mojo's. The show got cancelled. Remember how I was going to go see this?
Yeah. So you're going to go see him?
Well, now I can't. It's someone just told me today who's trying to organise it. It's on the 2nd of December, but I've got a belated Thanksgiving dinner at a friend's place that night. Bit of a dinner party.
Okay. Otherwise engaged, right?
Yeah. So I can't check him out, but that's all right.
Oh well, bummer.
So is it a whole album or just one song that the Beatles released? Just one song. And that's it. This is the final one. They're calling it the final one?
They're calling it.
Wow.
Unless they turn up another tape somewhere. Sure. But it's it's really cool, man.
So they're not going to be using that one to scare off homeless people from the homeless shelter?
I wouldn't have thought so. It's a nice song. It is a nice song. But I don't think it's going to scare anyone off, no.
Well, what good is it? Because sometimes...
I know. Yep.
I reckon people could probably... Maybe this is what we need to contact the Bunbury Council and say, you can use our podcast, yes, as a sonic weapon.
Oh, my God, yeah. Go nuclear on them, play episode.
Go nuclear. Because, this is even worse because theirs is obviously the loop sends you a little bit crazy.
Yeah, but at least it's musical, upbeat, fun.
Yeah, our delivery is toxic.
They'll hate it. They'll be gone. So if you're listening, Bunbury Council,
Do you know they were playing it for more than 6 months?
No.
Yeah.
No.
They were using another song before that as well.
Oh.
They were using
was it the club song from Blade 1? Because that would do it.
What's that?
You know that dun 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 dun. That's the whole song.
It's far worse than that. Do you know Peter Allen's "I Go to Rio"? Rio de Janeiro.
Yeah. When my baby smiles at me, I go to Rio.
Yeah.
Oh, great. Yeah, that's terrible.
So they had been using that on loop.
Oh my God.
I don't know if they'd been doing it consistently, but since 2017, they had been doing that because the location is a venue for playing music. It's like a stage.
Right.
But they don't use it all the time. So because they weren't there, these vagrants came along and started living there.
As you do.
So the council's like, how do we actually drive the homeless away? They have homeless programs and things, but Bunbury is actually suffering from an unprecedented housing crisis and also a bit of an epidemic on the drug front.
Sure. So, what you do is you kick people while they're down, while they're struggling and destitute. You play bad music in their ears.
Yeah, I'm not saying it's a good thing they did, but they also have places they want the homeless to go that are more appropriate. Maybe they need more. Arguably, they need more.
There could be a housing crisis.
Yes. They're trying to say, could you just not hang out here? And then so what happened is they play the music to try and drive them away, but they just wear earplugs and just get on with it. But then someone broke into the storeroom or something and cranked it up, and that's when it became known that this was going on.
Right.
So because it was so loud, it started to cause problems, and people were like, "Why are the Wiggles playing
over and over again?"
Over and over again.
Because they wouldn't have heard it from far away.
No.
Interesting.
Yeah, but we can contact them. We can say we actually have a lot of material. Just don't play. You don't even have to play it on loop, right? Because I think that's where it becomes a weapon, is when you're doing something on repeat like that. There's sort of like a bit this.
We do repeat ourselves sometimes, and sometimes the same sort of stuff comes up. But yes, you're right. We do it in a different way. Relentless.
It's not relentless. If you put it back to back,
so we're the softer touch.
Yeah, we are soft to touch. And it'll be good exposure for us.
Great exposure.
Maybe we can sponsor them.
Well, they're sponsoring us.
Yeah, actually, we can't sponsor them.
They say that your biggest critic is always yourself, right? They say that, right?
They do, yeah.
I haven't met my older brother then. He's quite critical of the show.
That's fair enough.
He finds it quite vacuous.
Yeah, he was complaining, wasn't he, that he was complaining that we don't know what we're talking about.
Well, that's fair.
And that we're not running things to ground. I mean, those concerns
also
are
a fair
accurate.
Point. Also
very
a fair
accurate.
Point.
Yeah. Yeah, I think he's missing the point that it's going to be vacuous. Yeah. This is what you've signed up for. If you're listening,
still, we want feedback. We want feedback.
We want feedback. Give us some feedback. Yeah. Send us an email, vacuousperspective@mail.com.
Yeah, you can send us an email. You can comment on video.
What I want is a scathing.
Yeah, brutal.
Some brutal feedback. I want something scathing. I want something that's like they've thought about. They've used ChatGPT on to like really.
Wow. Yeah. What, you want them to go that hard?
Yeah.
Because I wouldn't go that hard. It's got to be your thoughts and feelings. I'm not going to be like, give me the worst.
If you want facts, you've come to the wrong place.
Yeah. We are what we said we are on the ticket.
Yeah, we're finally regulating AI a bit though, aren't we? I heard Biden's imposed some executive orders of some sort.
If it's just recently, about reining it in, or having the ability to, or having some sort of way of testing things before they become Skynet, I get it.
That sounds like what it is. So Biden's issued a wide-ranging executive order on Monday that aims to safeguard against threats posed by AI, ensuring that bad actors do not use technology to develop devastating weapons or mount supercharged cyber attacks. It's whoever he says is a bad actor.
Is he talking about trying to think of a bad actor? Who's a bad actor? Because most of the actors that you see on telly and movies, they're good actors. Are there any bad actors that you know of? I don't know. I'm trying to think of one. I can't think of one.
A bad actor? Yeah, it's tough.
Before you say Nicolas Cage, he's not a bad actor. They just...
I would say... I only found out this on the weekend. I would say controversial. I'm trying to think of one. Arguably Denzel Washington's son that does Tenet.
Okay. I actually think he's a good actor, but maybe I think anyone who played a Skywalker is a bad actor.
Really?
Yeah, Luke Skywalker. Mark Hamill wasn't a great actor in the original movies. He was fine. He did his job. But he wasn't like stellar. He wasn't like a Han Solo, like a Harrison Ford. But he's got better and better, obviously. Return of the Jedi is like iconic shit for his acting, I think. But the young kid who played Anakin Skywalker got hounded and destroyed after he made that movie, and people generally thought he did a shit job, even though I thought it was fine. Older Anakin, people hated it. It's just the way he was scripted.
He didn't get a second gig, this young Anakin?
No, he got out of Hollywood, man. Had some real problems.
Okay. Because
he was a school kid at the time and he got hounded in a bad way about how like people hated his performance, and that's not fair. He's like a 10-year-old kid. And the guy who played older Anakin, Hayden Christensen, caught a lot of flack for because people didn't like the character because he was a bit of a brat, like a teenage brat is what it came across as, and nobody's going to be on that guy's side. But that's not his fault. That's the writing. It was terribly written. So I'm trying to like say that I think all the Skywalkers are bad actors, but I'm also qualifying it by saying they actually did really well and good on them, sort of thing. And I'll chuck Carrie Fisher in as well. She's technically a Skywalker. Chuck her in.
What is Denzel Washington's son's name?
David Washington.
David Washington.
I think. Tenet. Great movie. Loved it. I won't hear a bad word about it.
The reason why I say it's controversial on so many fronts. Some people say it's a masterpiece. Some people say it's rubbish. Some people say he is a fantastic actor. Some people say he's garbage. It's very interesting how polarizing it is. And I actually think the more polarizing it is, it has done its work as a piece of art.
I agree.
Because I think if there's enough people that do say it's excellent, and if they truly believe it, then there must be some genius to it.
Yes.
So where I'm going with this is all we need is a couple of people to really say we are geniuses.
Oh, right. I thought you were going the other way. Yep.
Right?
Yes.
And arguably, we are art.
Great.
Arguably.
But we need someone to hate it, right?
Oh, no, we got plenty of people that hate it.
Right. Of course.
I mean, there's no right. We're not shy of that. I mean, we can show it to anyone, and we got that. We need some people that like it.
Got it.
Yeah. So we'll work on that. We'll find someone. Yeah. So now Biden's got some rules. Yeah, he's imposed some rules. I don't really know exactly how they work, but I mean, I like it. I know Elon's happy about it. Surely,
right?
He's been calling for this for years.
Yep.
Whether it goes as far as he wants to go is another question.
Sure. And then what? You just think that they've got their finger on the kill switch just in case we go Skynet?
I hope so. I hope they do. A key rule established under the executive order demands that AI companies conduct tests of some of their products and share the results with government officials before the new capabilities become available to consumers.
Makes sense. Do you think there was similar conversations happening on the eve of the internet? People are saying, "Hey, we need to look into the positives and negatives of this internet thing." It could potentially, like bad actors could get involved in the internet, right? Let's have a Senate committee. Let's figure out what we need to worry about before we just let this thing go wild. And it did go wild almost instantly. There would have been the same thing. There would have been the same thing going on.
I almost think that the internet was such an unanticipated thing, and it happened so organically it was a communication between universities. I understand they were sending files between universities, and then the nodes started all the universities got on board, or a lot of universities did, and then I don't know exactly
just as
how
a
the
means of
internet
communication.
started.
I mean, we already had phones, but now we've got this.
Yes.
And but do you think we knew what the possibilities were? Obviously, we didn't. I never thought I'd be doing what I'm doing today.
No, I reckon they were just like, yeah, mate, can you send me that picture of this naked person? That'd be a good start. That's where they were going.
But it was all text based in the beginning.
Oh, true. Tell me a kinky story. That's where it started. They went, don't worry about it. Let's not regulate this shit. Let's, Okay, the development of the internet was a complex and multifaceted process that evolved over several decades. It was not the result of a single individual or event, but rather the collaborative efforts of many people and organizations. Here's an overview. So late 1960s, the Department of Defense's Advanced Research Projects Agency initiated APRANET, research project designed to create a decentralized, fault-tolerant communication network for military and academic purposes. It's always
makes sense.
Military.
That's where it always starts.
Yep.
It's never like, oh, this will help. It's always just like, this will allow us to be more efficient
at killing.
Yes.
It seems APRANET, the World Wide Web, in the late 1980s and early 1990s, the invention of the by British computer scientist Tim Berners-Lee revolutionized the internet. Neither. Introduced the concept of hypertext, making it easy for people to navigate and access information on the net. The first web browser and web server were created at CERN.
Oh, yes.
The European Particle Physics Laboratory.
Great place.
Great place. That's probably where the
and then 30 years later,
coin.
you've got, you know, what we've got now. So we're on the cusp of this AI thing, and who knows what we're going to be dealing with in 30 years' time. Maybe Skynet. But maybe good Skynet. Maybe Skynet before it went bad.
I mean, I don't know where we're going.
When everything's great.
You know where we're going. We're going
nanobot. We're going to nanobot toothbrush robots. We're going to, you know, we're doing all that.
Man, we got space babies on the horizon. We have hot potato being abused by local councils.
What next? Oh, plus the threat of Apophis. I mean, you know, there's a lot to be excited about. There's a lot to be scared about.
Speaking of Star Wars, I only just heard about John Williams the other day. Do you know who John Williams is? I bet you do.
I do know who John Williams is, yeah. He's a composer.
He is a badass.
Correct. What, did you just find out that he was involved in some of the biggest things ever made?
Everything. He's the only film composer, conductor, man you need to know of. The only one. Have you seen his...
Well, there's a couple of other ones.
No. It's just him. It's him and Noah. It's Daylight. Him and Daylight.
Okay.
I only just found... Yeah, I've never thought about composers in film before. But I'm closing the book on he is the GOAT.
Right, we've got the GOAT.
He's probably the only one in the paddock. Because he was a bit of a Steven Spielbergo kind of friend, I believe. He did a lot of the Steven Spielberg stuff.
Yes, he did.
I think that got him going.
Yeah, you're talking like Indiana Jones. You're talking
Jaws.
E.T.
Jaws.
Yep, iconic. Close Encounters of the Third Kind. Jaws 2. Superman. I could go on.
Clint Eastwood was using him for stuff.
Spielberg didn't make Superman.
So Star Wars, all that jazz.
It's huge, man.
Huge. He's done everything. He's done Harry Potter.
Home Alone. Yep. Hook, which was also a Spielberg. He did JFK by Oliver Stone. So he's not
Superman.
Just about one thing. Yep. Superman, Jurassic Park.
It's out of control. I was like, who is this guy? Who is this guy?
Which people regard as a pretty good movie.
Yeah, pretty good movie. Unbelievable. This guy, you look at his awards on Wikipedia. The guy's like the Queen's giving him medals of honor. He's an honorary Knight Commander of the Order of the British Empire.
Yeah. You don't just get given those ones. He's done just about everything.
The
right?
International Olympic Committee gave him their highest individual order, the Olympic Order.
Oh, because he did the Olympic theme for the 1984 Summer Olympic Games.
Is that what he got it for? Like, what do you mean?
Williams has composed music for 4 Olympic Games, the 1984 Summer Olympics, the 1988 Seoul Olympics in Korea, Summon the Heroes, which was at the 1996 Olympics in Atlanta. So America had the Olympics in 84 and 96. Wow. And then Call of the Champions. That's his last crack at the Olympics, and that was the 2002 Winter Olympics, Salt Lake City. So America again. Plus a whole bunch of TV credits. It's crazy. He's done so much.
It's crazy.
Yeah. And I think his last movie ever was the Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny, which is the latest Indiana Jones movie. I think that's the last. I think he's retired now.
Okay. Yeah, I think it is. I mean, I hope he's not dead because this guy is an absolute. He is the goat. I hope he's a living goat.
He's 91 years old and he's still alive.
Oh, okay. He's 91. Okay, because he is the oldest person at 90 to be nominated for an Academy Award. So he's still doing stuff.
Wow, crushing it.
But
I've said it before. I get that you've written all the music and stuff, but when you're doing the actual hands moving thing, I mean, anyone can do that, right? At 91, you'd be fine doing that, doing little wavies with the stick. You know what I'm saying?
What's he actually doing? What actually
at that point?
Now, what do those conductors actually do? I think he's...
Oh, mate. Apparently a lot, but I just see it as bit of wank.
Yeah, he might be riding the coattails of all these musicians, these actual musicians who are doing something.
If he's composing, that means he's writing the music that they're playing.
Yeah, but I mean, yeah, I could think of music. How hard could it be? I can think of it. Yeah.
Well, yeah, don't even need
It's actually executing it. That's the hard part. I've got all these great songs going on up here
in your head.
Yeah.
Interesting.
She's been nominated for 53 Academy Awards, winning 5. Yes. That's not a very good strike rate, is it?
Yeah, okay.
I mean, how many?
Wow. It says he's still active, 1952 to present.
Well, if he was nominated for an Academy Award at 90, it means he either retired in the last year or is still going.
Yeah. Well, on his filmography sort of section, it does say 1952 to present. That's a long time to be working. That's 71 years.
He holds the record for the most Oscar nominations for a living person. I don't know who the dead person is.
Walt Disney.
Oh, okay, and second most nominated person in Academy Awards history behind Walt Disney's 59.
Oh, no, that's that one. Right.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Just a beast.
A beast.
Never heard of him.
And if he's still working, maybe he wants to do something for the show.
Okay. Yeah, now we're on to something. Yeah.
Get him to do like a new theme song for the opening.
Because he does, I mean, he's probably looking for something to do in his...
Yeah, he's not. He doesn't seem to be limited by only doing big budget stuff. It seems like he'll do just about anything. So let's put the feelers out. John, if you're out there, send us an email.
No, we don't need an email. Oh, we do need to open up some communication. Yes, but
yes.
Just send us the track, mate.
Yeah. You know what we're about. Send it through. I don't know about you, man, but I'm zonked.
Yeah, I'm absolutely rooted. Yeah,
the weekend was big. The work week's been big, and I'm actually going okay. Actually, to be fair,
given the circumstances.
To
be honest, I wasn't in the sort of mood, my low energy state. I wasn't exactly chomping at the bit to do this episode, but I just want to do it. I want to get out there. I want to give John Williams his kudos.
Yeah, you want to make sure that your feelings are known about John Williams being the GOAT of
because we might miss. I mean, he could, heaven forbid, something could happen. We could miss the opportunity to give him his kudos in person.
Well, not anymore.
Because, I mean, he hasn't received many awards. It'd be nice for him just to have someone froth on him just one time.
What, are you saying that he gets a lot of noms but doesn't get a lot of awards?
I mean, he's chatted with the Queen and all that stuff, but did she really give him the ego stroke that he needs? Which we can probably provide. Yeah.
We do think he's great.
Well, look, I know it's 2 minutes early, but I think we should wrap it up. Dinner, I know I promised the wife that I'll be done, so I'm a little bit late for my shashuka.
Excellent.
We were a little bit late to get going. I'll tell you all about the shashuka next week.
We did well. Yeah, we'll have a review. Yep. And should be good.
Yeah. Looking forward to it.
Hope you had a nice week. We'll see you next time.